Welcome into today's football edition of the Cavalier Connection. Today we will discuss who's football and what the fans are saying. Also, we have another Mincer's moment for you. Don't miss all of this next on the Cavalier Connection. Welcome into another edition of the Cavalier Connection, our football edition, as we talk about this past Saturday's game versus Notre Dame and, hear a little bit from what the fans' perspective is. So we're going to do that tonight. And, the Notre Dame game did not have a whole heck of a lot of offensive positives, but, we always can find a Mincer's moment because the Who's always find a way to score. I guess that's the best way I could put it. We were able to find a way to score on Saturday when our friend Tony Muskett came into the game, and so our friend
there at halftime. I was wondering, are we going to have to for the first time ever go to a defensive tackle? Just go to a tackle.
Yeah, the Mincer's moment was up in the air.
Special teams play by sinker, maybe. Getting the recovery, maybe.
Yep. But we did get an offensive Mincer's moment, and those friends of ours, Mincer's, always great deals going on.
You can score a great deal.
And you can score a great deal, and that's what we want to talk about real quick before we show you our Mincer's moment of the week. Mincer's, as you're hearing this, today is the day. They're celebrating 22 years of Mincers.com. Crazy, 22 years online. And how are they celebrating that? 22% off of everything. You use the code, go to Facebook and follow them on Mincers, UVA, and Printed Sportswear. Sign up for their email list, and they'll send you a code for all day today. Also on the Facebook page, you can click the link below to on their post to subscribe. You cannot get a gift card at the discount rate, but 22%. Last week things were free. This week we got 22% off. It's a good time to purchase from Mincer's. So let's help them celebrate 22 years online, and let's get that 22% off. And that will bring us to our Mincer's moment of the week.
Pay no attention to the score at this point in the game.
4th and 2.
Big 4th and 2 play.
Who's off the field on 4th and short, and
Tony with the keeper around in, and I don't care what anybody says. They can talk about Calandria being faster or more athletic. Tony, when he gets going, look at that.
Is on the board.
Hey, this is just zone read.
Watch him.
Everybody at Notre Dame
zone
running
read.
up in there, and it's here.
A little bit of a
It
pistol
crashes
formation
down. I'm
there.
going to go take the ball to the edge, and that's exactly what happened there. Very good job.
He is an athlete, too.
Watts miss. Watts has the quarterback there.
He knew. Got the hand.
And you bring up a good point. But, even when he started last season at the start of the year, and I know that's what kind of got him in, the injury in the Tennessee game, but he's not Tom Brady back there.
No.
And I'm talking about the running. We know he's not Tom Brady throwing, but he can move as well. So anyway, that's our Mincer's moment of the week. Congratulations to Tony Muskett. Tony, I would expect you should be coming on the air with us soon, because typically our Mentors Moments of the week involve guests of the Cavalier Connection. So we expect.
I have communicated with Tony in the past, and he did say after the season he'd love to come on. So
he had his focus.
Tony,
he had his focus on the season, and then we hopefully get him on after the season. So congratulations to Tony. Thanks to Mentors for that Mentors Moment of the week. Don't miss the 22% off sale today as you hear this right now. So Virginia lost to Notre Dame on Saturday. It was a tough one right from the get-go. When the game starts, a fumble on the kickoff from our friend Chris Tyree, it never shaped up from there other than that musket run. So we this week, Jay, you posted just your initial or general thoughts from the game, and plenty of reaction from it. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about tonight, the reaction to some of what you had to say. And one of the things you talked about, and we were just talking about, is we got 2 games left on the season. Question is, should Tony Muskett start those final 2 games? Now, before I get to you, Jay, I believe Muskett or in your tweet, you said you believe Muskett should start the final 2 games, and just some reaction from some of our followers. Tweet by Valley 77. AC gets benched, he leaves. His play will get big money. He's got 2 years left. Can't aggravate him. We'll start right there. What's your thoughts on that? And I know we've had thoughts like that in the past, but what's your thoughts on that right now?
So I got to give Ball Hawk shout out, as we often do. I listened to his post-game pod, and he was talking about how, if you were in the camp before the year of you got to start Muskett or you got to start Calandria so that he doesn't transfer, then you should still be in that camp. But respectfully, I would disagree, because I was in the camp of let's keep Calandria happy if it's close. And I think we all, we thought it was close. So start AC, we want to keep him around for his last 2 years. We've seen a full year almost of him starting now. And I've just had a change in mindset. And this is not just a Calandria Muskett situation. This is for the entire program. This is for any player. And I think I tweeted this out. If I didn't, I put it on Facebook. But there's only one Saturday that is important right now, and that's the next one. When you're in this day and age of college sports, where rosters are changing 50% every year almost, it seems like, you can't worry about who you're going to upset. That you read that tweet, and the guy Valley said you can't aggravate him. Are you freaking kidding me? We can't aggravate him. Don't aggravate him. He might leave. He might take his 19 interceptions or 17 interceptions at whatever it is and go get a big payday. Okay, well, let him then. Can we not replace his production? Again, this is nothing against Calandria, because he's never said anything about transferring. In fact, he's been big time bought into Coach Elliott, and I'm glad. I want him to stay, and I want him to improve, but I also want Muskett to start these last 2 games, because I think Muskett gives us the best chance to win right now. And that's all I care about right now. What gives us the best chance to win? And I don't even think it's close, to be honest. I think Calandria looked shook Saturday. It's 3 interceptions and 7 pass attempts. I know Notre Dame's got a great defense, and they come after the ball, and they're successful, and they got a good program, obviously, good athletes. But you can't throw 3 interceptions and 5. I mean, the defense actually played really well Saturday. I mean, at one point, we forced, I think it was either like 3 or 4 consecutive 3-and-outs on Notre Dame's offense. Whereas if the offense could have just done anything, we could have been in that game. Saturday, Notre Dame was ripe for the upset. And had we come to play, had we played I'm not even saying we had to play an A game to win, because Notre Dame just wasn't that good Saturday. If we had brought our B+ game, we could have won that game at Notre Dame. And Jeff, you'd have been halfway to the tattoo, but instead now we gotta, I gotta figure out some other way to get a tattoo on you.
Yeah. The first thing, and so a couple things. Number one, first thing my mama said to me when I came into the church on Sunday was, "I'm glad to hear you didn't have to get the tattoo."
For those that don't know, Jeff and I are tattooless, both of us, and our mamas would not be happy if we had tattoos put on us at this point in our lives.
Yeah. I agree. I was on the front of early on. You don't want to, if it's close, you don't want to upset the apple cart or whatever, as they say. But I'm in the same boat. College football, all college sports have changed so much. The transfer portal is just going to be there. And listen, if Calandria is offered $5 million to go elsewhere, go take the money. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to wish that man. I like him. I'm going to wish. I hope he goes and succeeds somewhere. But we can't play. We can't continue to do this. Worrying about aggravating a player they might transfer. They might transfer anyway because we have not had a great year. On Facebook, Quinn said AC does not need a reset. How can these QBs learn by not experiencing things, picking up from their positives and negatives and applying them going forward? Musket is a pocket passer. AC is, according to Coach Elliott, a playmaker. And real quick, we just showed a clip. Our Mentor's moment was Musket running the read option. And don't get me wrong, I know there are benefits to learning and experiencing positives and negatives on the field, but we're 10 games in. We're trying to go to a bowl. We got to win one of these 2 games. Why not give it a shot?
We're past the point of like taking positives and taking, learning from your negatives and all that. We're at money time now. This is bowl eligibility we're talking about, which was the whole goal for this season. Get to 6. That's what everybody talked about. Get to 6. And that was thought to be an overachieving season if we got there, which we disagree. We kind of thought we should get to 6, but AC, if he's not going to be like a Heisman Trophy level quarterback or anything. Like, in baseball, they have wins above replacement. I like that stat. You got a guy like a Lindor who might be 8 games above. Basically, they take the average player and they say this guy's worth this many more wins than that guy, than the average.
All right.
What do you think? Calandria is probably either net even, or maybe even a hair negative from the average. He's just turning the ball over too much. The big plays haven't been there since Trell got hurt. Trell was the big play.
I think, yeah.
Calandria threw it out there, but Trell was. You don't think Musket can throw that ball? I do. Look at last year. Musket was able to throw the deep ball. So if you're not getting the dynamic plays from Calandria, that's why he's in the game. So if you're not getting the dynamic plays, then you have to go Musket.
Yeah, and listen, we could, and as of right now, the depth chart has Calandria for this Saturday.
But the quote was, if the game was played today,
right,
Calandria would start.
And
that
they're both
game not played today.
They're both getting first team reps. And if Musket starts, he might start and just stink it up. I don't know, but I don't know. He could start and stink it up.
I don't think. It's possible. Sure.
If it could happen, and either way. But I know this. I don't know whether he will or not because I don't get to see it. So if it's close in training camp like it was, then why not give him the shot? Last tweet on this real quick. Heat Miser, and we've already talked about this, but mobile and has a good arm. Talking about Calandria. There are plenty of P4 schools that will see his potential. They will coach him up, and he'll return to torch us. Saw people saying AC is too short. Tell that to Russ Wilson or the great Sonny Jurgensen. I'll throw in Goff, Garoppolo, and Murray. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's too short. I'm not saying anything about his attributes. Again, we are Calandria fans. We like Calandria. We want Calandria to be the starting quarterback next year, unless we can get somebody better. And then we don't want him to be the quarterback. Like, I am in the business of trying to find the best players. And if Coach Elliott, if Bjorn comes in or Cole Greer comes in and is just better, then you play them.
Right.
I don't care. And you can say that that's not being loyal to guys, but you got to be loyal to winning. And you got to be loyal to every other guy in the locker room. I mean, look, I'm not going to name the names because, on Twitter now, people can't see who likes your tweets. But the tweet that I put out that said Tony Muskett should be starting was liked by a player on the team. I mean, that's a fact.
Right.
I'm not going to hand one of our top recruits. So it wasn't just a player. It was also a top recruit. And it wasn't one of the quarterback recruits. I'll say that. So, look, there's some people on that team that want Muskett to start. There's no doubt in my mind. It's probably a split camp. But I hope it doesn't divide the locker room. All year they've said how close those two guys were. So just be the stand-up kids that you are, that I believe that you are, and it's not a problem. You play the game, whoever starts, whoever plays, and then you go into the, you play the Virginia Tech game, hopefully you play a bowl game, and then you go into the offseason. Tony, go have a nice life, great career, come back anytime you want, and AC, try to lead the program.
Yep. Next one. Should the team retain Coach Gaither and Coach Kitchens at the end of the season? First tweet from Mark on X. I know only one game we scored 14 on UNC at home. JMU put up 70 on that same defense. UNC's D is awful. The first and goal from the one and not getting a TD, at some point reality sets in, and I think we have talent. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, Gaither is not even is not a question. He shouldn't even be coaching now. I just don't think making a change in year helps anybody. So for that reason, he gets to finish the season.
Yeah.
But he can't coach special teams. Look, Notre Dame again. They called the penalty on the well, first of all, we muff the opening kickoff. Like, any chance you have in that game has to be a clean game. Like, you've got to be clean, and you need Notre Dame to make a mistake or two.
And they said with the wind, they knew the kicks were going to be short in that situation, but we were playing so far back and had to charge in on that ball.
And why are you playing back anyway, Jeff? Because with the rules like they are, most teams are taking the touchback.
Right.
So why, if you have to keep going back, you're going to be taking a touchback anyway.
Right.
Like, again, Tyree, I think he's another question later on. So, but you turn the ball. The special teams has been horrible all year. Look at Sparks. I know it's player mistakes, but Sparks cost us the game with his punting against, was it Louisville?
Yeah.
Was that the Louisville game where he had the blocked punt where he just punted it into the guys?
Yeah, he punted into our offensive lineman. I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah,
the guy from the Pop-Tart Bowl, when he punted it, he just started laughing. That's rough. The bowl execs are there. He just started laughing on the punt.
And look, Sparks is a guy. He put some of the most beautiful punts I've ever seen. And we've been to NFL games, had season tickets at the Washington Redskins, and he puts the ball in some of the, most beautiful punts you've ever seen. There was one punt this year where we were backed up to the end zone, and like he didn't even get to take his normal steps. He just pretty much one step drop and kick, and boomed the ball. But then you get the special teams mistakes. But anyway, we also had to fumble on special teams where, we were fortunate. We fell on it.
Well, Jay, you remember? Well, hold on. Do you remember last week Sanker blocked the kick? That was on special teams, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think I saw after the game on that, and I go back and look, but they asked if it was if that was something schematically or if that was just a player making a play to Coach Elliott. And that was just a player that made a play. It wasn't we saw something on the schemes where we thought we could get one. Yeah. Sanker is an All-American, and the dude's a stud. 4th week of the year, he was ACC Defensive Back of the Week this past week.
Oh, yeah.
But, Notre Dame should have had that touchdown on special teams. That was a nice play design.
It was.
But still, you just can't allow that. You can't allow it. And I know the other coaches get paid, but special teams has been bad since the day he stepped on campus, and he's got to go. Now, as far as Kitchens,
well, let me real quick. I'm gonna read this tweet. A couple of tweets on Kitchens, and Dennis says he agrees with many of your points. He's not sure about Kitchens. Harder to tell if it's inaccurate passes, poor execution, more problematic than play calling. Clearly, play calling has improved from first season. All their lack of rollouts for AC in some games seem important. I'm gonna just read this next one real quick. So we also had this one is regarding Gaither. We're going to get a punt block in one of these last games. I agree with your list, but I don't think Calandria is the present or the future. He would be good in the Sun Belt. I'm looking forward to Musket running the team. I'll get the last tweet in a minute after we talk about these. 2 things on that. I know you replied. You could see the Beamer ball coming out at Hokies on the one, and then also it is I'm gonna tell you right now, and we both went to ODU. I can see Calandria really running a heck of a offense at ODU.
Calandria would light up the scoreboard at Old Dominion.
And I hope that he can do it in the ACC for sure. He looks like that ODU quarterback, the Taylor Heineke, and might take him right onto the pros. And then the other tweet prior, as we're getting to Kitchens now, whether it was play calling or inaccurate passes and poor execution, and I'm gonna just get your take on it. But I will say, all of the above.
Yeah, just too inconsistent. Too inconsistent to have so many weapons. I look at, and you can't help but look, Jeff, at what Coach Beck is doing out at New Mexico with Coach Mendenhall.
I'm a big Coach Beck fan. Coach Beck fan.
And they're putting up almost 40 a game out there. And Coach Mendenhall's team, he does what he does. He rebuilds programs. He took Virginia to an Orange Bowl. That's people can say he quit on the program. I know there's people that believe that. I don't believe he quit on the program. I think he quit on Carla, but that's another episode. But anyway, I think Des is just too inconsistent. And he's bottom line, you got to produce. You got to produce consistently. And we're not doing that. We don't, you look at when we had Armstrong under Bronco and we had Perkins. We had a system, they called it the quarterback, where the quarterback was going to be a big part of the run game, throwing the football a lot, obviously, too. Really dual threat. And Virginia seems to run like, when somebody does something really good, they call it that on steroids. what do they call it when it's like the really bad part of it? What is the downside of like steroids is big? What's the small?
On cocaine or something? You know how you shrivel right on up.
Yeah. His offense is whatever that offense is shrunken. It just doesn't produce, and he's too inconsistent.
It's rough to watch. It's rough to watch.
Yeah. It's
and
like
it was rough to watch, and we were scoring, but it's rough to watch, and we aren't moving the ball at all.
And I don't know if you might not have this tweet in the show doc, but one guy came at us and said, "Well, you must have forgotten that week against Pitt a week earlier."
That was my next tweet.
Okay, go ahead and read that one.
No, so this was on the flip side. I was going to tell a positive tweet for Des Kitchens. Wow. I guess this is our next level who. Wow. I guess you forgot about the Pitt winning the week before. Who was the OC for that game? Des Kitchens was the OC for that game. But and I know you replied and you said, well, I wasn't impressed with that either. And he replied, well, maybe you should stop being a UVA fan. The thing is,
but see, Jeff, let me stop you. That's the type fan I can't stomach very well. I didn't say I wasn't happy with the win. Obviously, right. I'm clearly talking about the offense. And he goes, right. If you can't be happy beating a top 25 team right. or whatever he said, like, that's not what I said. Actually, right. Take what I said,
right,
and let's talk about that.
No, we're happy with the win, but sure. The offense was not very good that game.
No, it wasn't.
We scored 23 by the skin of our teeth.
24, but
24-19.
Yeah.
The defense came to play. And then, once again, I mean, it was an injury to their starting quarterback no, listen, you take the field, you beat who's in front of you.
Right.
And that's what we did.
All-American made 2 All-American plays.
Correct.
And that's how we got that win.
And it was almost like, the blocked field goal in that game, I just compared just a hair to the Redskins versus Cowboys when Joe Gibbs came back, and I mean the offense had been so bad all year, and then all of a sudden 2 touchdown passes to Santana Moss, to win the game, like on Monday Night Football
in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and so the boost that blocked field goal gave the offense, and then all of a sudden it got them going enough to win the football game. So no, we're happy with the win, thrilled with the win. I'd rather win ugly and terrible every week than take the L. But just as we talk about Kitchens, we got to talk about what the offense is actually doing on the field. How about we win that game with 31 points because of a good offensive game plan? And I do. Last thing I'm gonna say, I'm just a fan speaking. I don't know X's and O's, so don't come at me that I don't know football and I don't know X's and O's. All I am is a fan looking at the TV screen, and I'm seeing a lot of 3 and outs. I'm seeing a lot of, I don't know. It looks like a type of game plan that I probably would be calling because I wouldn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, we, like you say, Jeff, we're just fans, but we got eyes, and we've been watching football for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I couldn't coach it, but it's one of the things. It's like I can't coach it, but I know it when I see it.
Right.
And I can tell you what play would work in a certain situation. I couldn't call a whole game, but you give me a situation where you give me the play call in a certain situation, I can give you 1 or 2 play calls, to.
I won't even go that far for myself, but I do know what I'm seeing if something's not working, and it hasn't worked all year. And I do believe that it's a combination of all the above, and potentially Kitchens is what's causing the regression of AC, and also the comment up above when they said I forgot what I was about to say, but they said something about that they see improvement from last year to this year offensively. I actually see the opposite. I thought that's why we were so excited for the season was because of what we saw last year.
Yeah.
And this year is just and also this year we know the schedule was tough. And to win 6 games was the goal. And if you win 6, there's certain games you had to win. And we have a shot at it. We're right there. We have a shot. So as rough as it's felt, and we knew this was going to happen with that schedule. And playing Notre Dame, we didn't go into that game thinking we were going to win. But
no, Notre Dame gave you a gift by not coming with their A game.
Right.
Even after the opening kickoff, I mean, we got the 3 and out, but we get the late hit.
Yep. Yeah.
And then they score the touchdown. I mean, you can't just keep giving the number 8 team in the country on their home field gift after gift.
Right.
And think you have a chance, because you don't. I mean, you needed everything to go right for you and them to not play their A game. And you got them playing, I want to say what they played was about a C-, but we didn't take advantage. No. I mean, 35-14, I had the final score of 38-17. So I was really close. But it wasn't exactly how I thought it would go. I thought we'd be more competitive early, and then they'd kind of pull away late. So,
yeah. Last one here from the X, talking about Chris Tyree. What's happened to him? And real quick, I'll read these out. These were some Facebook replies.
Well, first, do you have the post? Because to be fair, what I said was he just ain't that dude. And as much as we want him to be and thought he was, he ain't that dude. And by that, I mean a number 1 receiver, a stud. He ain't
what we thought we were getting.
I thought, okay, he's the replacement for Malik.
Yep.
Well, Malik, turns out he's pretty dang special.
Yep. So, and so the reply to that from Willie on Facebook, this one made me chuckle a little bit. First of all, you're full of it. If you think Chris Tyree is a bust, you know absolutely nothing about football. I've watched him since my son. This was enough for me to know. Since my son coached him in Little League, and his team won a national championship, which is impressive. You win a national championship in Little League, I don't care where it is, it's very impressive. But he was recruited by Notre Dame, for God's sake. Well, I'll save this real quick. Be sure to keep your day job. You are not a football scout. And real quick, Jay's the one who posted this, not me. So, Jay, you keep your day job. You're not a football scout. He simply wasn't used correctly like many others in our offense because of our coaching is subpar at best. And the last line is the only thing I agreed with. It's possible. That's possible. But so, number one, if you're just because you're recruited by Notre Dame doesn't mean that you're it. I'm going to real quick. We're going to go. I'm just one player, Jamarcus Russell. I'll just use him as my example. For God's sake, he was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. But guess what? He was. Some people say the biggest bust in the history of the NFL. Heath Schuler, as Redskin fans. Like, there's a bunch of them out there.
Daniel Jones for people that are not so old.
Correct. Yeah. I appreciate that, Jay. But those folks are out there. Like, sometimes it just does not work out when you get to the next level. Sometimes people are special, and then the talent might catch up to you. Listen, I don't know what it is. I have not been impressed. I expected with Tyree coming from Notre Dame and playing in that environment, like no environment would be too big for him. The game against Richmond, I believe, was to start the year. I mean, it was the dropsies.
3 drops.
And it's been a common theme. They haven't been able to get him going. I don't know. I can't help but see that with my eyes as a fan. And then also, the Notre Dame game, biggest crowd you're playing in front of, and you're used to this environment. You drop the opening kickoff.
You want to make a statement. You're returning home.
Correct. And real quick, the reply on Facebook from Carol, I agree with Willie, who made the initial comment on Tyree. His nerves got the best of him, and that's probably his nerves probably did get the best of him on the kickoff. But I mean, this is college athletics. You're here to win. And to be able to, like, the nerves would get me probably too, and I'll probably miss the ball, but I'm not a college athlete. But That's what you are. You were recruited by Notre Dame. So if you're something special like that, like in that Little League championship, you're not dropping that ball.
And Jeff, my God, you could say that about every D1 recruit. My God, he was recruited by Virginia.
Right.
I mean, you're talking Power 4 football.
Right.
Of course. I mean, look, Tyree's, this is nothing to do with Tyree the person. Don't know him at all. Never had a conversation. And I would love to see him do great things these last 2 games. And heck, I don't know. Get a look somewhere to camp. If not in the NFL, go play in Canada. Do something, But
an arena guy.
Yeah, do something. I mean, I hope he can. But the bottom line is, this year he has done nothing. And my response back to Carroll was, this is a season-long observation, not a one-game observation.
Right.
I've seen nothing. I literally have seen nothing. Not one play. Not one play does he look special.
I'll give him one. He had to return on the kick or the punt, but it was called back for the holding.
Right, but that won't. I mean, and I was going to say, I know which one you're going to say. And it wasn't special. It wasn't special. It wasn't like he just burst through.
I'll play devil's advocate and give him credit for that.
Okay. Okay, so let's say give him credit. He had one play where he looked special all year in 10 games.
Well, no, what it tells a story that I can come up with a play. Like, that's the only thing that's memorable. I'm coming up with a play. And
again, I will say it could be Coach Kitchens. It could totally be Coach Kitchens. In fact, that's what I defended Tyree for most of the year. But I can't defend him after 10 games and getting nothing. Like, you can't just say, first game in front of the home crowd against Richmond, first game in front of the home crowd, he's nervous. Okay. All right. He's nervous. I mean, what's his best game? 4 catches for 40-some yards or something? I mean,
I'll pull up his stats real quick. 23 catches on the year for 127, which is actually 23 is more than I realized he even had. But, those catches are
that's
3
2
yards
catches a game, basically, and they're all for about 6 yards.
Yeah, and so his average reception is 5.5.
Oh, round up. I said 6.
Yeah. So no, I mean, but it's 23 is more than I even thought he had. But and 25 for a long.
Didn't Malik Washington have like a 15 or 16 catch game?
I mean, Malik Washington finished with 110 catches for the year.
Yeah, don't disrespect Malik Washington. That's what I found out. Like, don't put somebody's name because they transfer in and they got some pedigree. And look, we wanted him to be special because he's a Virginia kid, and that opens the door maybe for other Virginia kids. Andre Green came back, Virginia kid. You want those guys to come in and succeed, but look, it just didn't working out. And it could be coaching. It could all be Tyree. I don't know. It ain't working out. I don't foresee it working out in the next 2 to 3. I hope I'm wrong.
Hope you're wrong. And real quick, this will be the last question of the night, and this is going to go towards the actually also people. All right, I'm just asking for your thoughts on and being a fan of a team and being critical or negative of your team versus only positivity. And real quick, I want to add on to that. Chris Tyree, for example, if you're negative at a player in college, which side do you stand on? Negative on Calandria, negative on whoever. And is Virginia, and I can't imagine Virginia is the only fan base that's like this. If you say something critical, you're not a fan. You're not a true fan. And I'll just give me just some little thought on.
So, yeah, I'm not okay with people that want to bash you because you say something about a player. Now, there's a difference between being critical of a player's play and being critical of – I'm not coming on here and talking about Tyree's character or how he is off the field or AC off the field.
Or we hope they do bad.
Right. Or we hope they get injured or something like that. That would never be the case. And that is wrong, in my opinion. But to say we can't criticize their play, I mean, at this point, they're you can't even say they're scholar athletes. They're just professional athletes that go to school. And they, should be able to take a little criticism. Do I think they even care about the criticism? Some of them probably do listen. Not just to us or even to us, but Ball Hawks episodes or Jackie's episodes or Hootie's episodes. Anybody that covers the team, if you're reading the paper and reading the comments from fans, you're gonna find some good, you're gonna find some bad. So, but no, there's no problem. Like the people that say you can't talk bad about it. I've been coming to games for 60 years and I've cheered them on every game. Well, good for you. Glad you came and hope you keep coming. But look, it's a results business. You got to get results.
I don't care. I don't care what side of the fence you stand on. I don't care if you're Mr. Positivity and all you want to say is positive things. That's great for you. I don't care if you get on. And like I agree with you, if it's negative towards a player's character or those kind of injury and that kind of stuff, that's a different animal. But if you want to talk about that you don't feel a player's playing up to standard, I don't care about that. I'm not going to run you down because you say everything's roses and whatever. I don't care. If you want to be Mr. or Mrs. Positivity, I'm all for it. If you want to be critical of a player, it's cool with me too. I'm not gonna, but don't run me down if I'm critical of a player, and I'm not gonna run you down if you are Mr. or Miss Positivity. We don't need to do that. There's no reason for it.
And that's the thing, Joe. Like people forget, you can just keep scrolling. If you don't like it,
right,
just keep scrolling. And
these players,
they make a comment that, hey, I disagree, and here's why.
Right.
And we could, like, even the guy that said, basically called me an idiot, like, you don't know football, whatever. I just said, LOL, okay, bud. And then he actually came back with a bit of an apology.
Yep. I was going to mention that. You're right.
And look, when you personally know it's personal, like, and as soon as I read that his son coached him, I'm like, well, you can't be objective.
Right.
Like you can't be objective because your emotions are involved.
Yep.
I don't have any emotional ties to Chris Tyree.
Right.
I can be objective and base it what I'm saying off what I've seen. Can't do that because you know the person behind the jersey.
That's where I cut it off right there. Once I saw that, I'm like, well, no. It's like the person who calls me to complain about officials for sports on base, and they say the first thing out of their mouth is, I played high school soccer. We're done at that point. I'm going to listen to you talk, but it's like saying I played high school baseball. Well, so what? That don't mean I can umpire. That don't mean I can do anything. Like, guess what? It's over.
Yeah.
So
he gave me a go Wahoo or something like that at the end. I mean, because I think I said go Hoos or something. Like I said, I don't get upset with people on the internet. I've had people say some, call me idiots plenty of times for things I've said. Sometimes I may have even deserved it. I might have said something that ended up being wrong. But when you put your opinions out there, you're going to be wrong sometime.
Yep. But we want, so just to be clear, as we get ready to wrap this one up, just because we're negative sometimes doesn't mean we're flipping diehard Virginia Cavalier sports fans. Flipping hard. I've come a long ways. And since doing this podcast, I've gotten a lot better.
Leaps and bounds.
I've been able to take losses much better. There were times that, earlier on in my marriage, when Virginia loses or my teams lose, you have to go take a timeout. Yeah. Like you go into your bedroom, you just shut the door. You need some time to yourself. And as your parents say, I wouldn't fuss at you if I didn't care. I wouldn't be upset if I didn't care. If I didn't have a love, when that passion's inside you for a program and for a team, you can't help but have some emotion that comes out at when things don't go your way or when things do go your way.
Yeah.
So I'm diehard. I'm there. My little tail. I'm gonna close this thing with this on myself, but I'm watching every game. I mean, Jay, there could be a year, and same thing with the Redskins in the past. We're flipping 2-13, and guess what? I'm watching game 16.
Yep.
It mattered to me. It matters. Virginia could be 1-10, and I'm going to watch game 12. As ticked as I'm going to be, I'm going to watch game 12. I watch every single flipping game. So call me I'm a fan or not. I'm just telling you. I'm as lifer as they come.
Yep.
And I know you are too.
Oh, for sure. And if people think that Calandria has come a long way, man, they would think we went from like Pee-wee to college in 1 year off of the way my behavior and your behavior has probably improved since we started this podcast. So
yeah, it definitely has helped, and it's been fun. We're 5-5. I've really had a lot of fun doing this. A lot of fun. We've been able to experience things I didn't ever expect I'd be able to experience in my life. And so you told me at 15 I was going to be able to go onto the field, not because I charged the field out of excitement.
Yeah.
Just walk out there with a flipping badge on my chest saying I'm allowed to come out there. I would have been
this will be the first time that you and I together.
Yes.
We'll get to be there as the Cavalier Connection with us. Of course, Jack will be able to be with us, but for people that we've been friends for like 40 plus years, to be able to go on the field and do that together and then go in the post-game press conference and
we've run that field at the same time celebrating.
Yeah.
But we never, this is awesome. So, call me what you want. I would say I don't care. I want you guys to listen to us. I don't care if you like us or not, but still tune in. But
you don't have to like us, but you do have to like Mincers. And visit cavaliergold.com, cavaliergold.com.
Cavaliergold.com too. So, but that's going to wrap up our football episode. We hopefully next week we'll be tuning in with a bunch of having a hard time picking a Mincers moment because all of a sudden Jay and Jeff are incorrect and Calandria, if he's
maybe we can go live post game for a brief live event.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Saturday afternoon.
It's an early game, so we might have a little more time on our hands. So
in the stadium, Yeah.
But we'll see you guys next week, and we also have a basketball episode that's going to drop on Thursday morning and Friday. Special guest. We'll have a special guest interview. Other than that, go Hoos.
Go Hoos.